So our next guest has been called Canada's Indiana Jones, and for good reason. Adam Shoalts grabbed his backpack, his canoe, a few supplies, and set off on, get this, a 3,400-kilometer odyssey from Lake Erie all the way up to the Arctic. He's now inviting us readers along with him to trace Where the Falcon Flies with his new book, and Adam Shoalts joins us in studio. How you doing, Adam?
Very well. Thanks for having me.
It's so cool to get to talk to you, and this is an incredible journey that you did. You documented it in this book, and I want to ask you right out of the gate, and I say this with nothing but respect and amazement, why? Like, what made you want to do this journey in particular? Because it sounds so harrowing.
Well, I was in our living room. We were living just near Lake Erie, about a kilometer north of the lake in St. Williams, Ontario. I looked at the living room one April day and I saw a peregrine falcon.
Wow.
And I'd seen peregrine falcons before in the Arctic when I did my journey alone across the Arctic a few years before that. And, you know, in southern Ontario, sometimes the northern wilderness can feel very far away. But when I looked out our window and I saw a falcon, I said, it's not so far after all. Maybe I can go from our front yard to the Arctic in my canoe. Wow,
because you thought, oh, these falcons do this journey, so you could do it too. That's amazing. You've done some incredible journeys before up to the Arctic, the Amazon rainforest, so this is nothing new for you, but one element of this journey that I found really fascinating was portaging your canoe around Niagara Falls. So what sort of particular challenges did that present for you?
A little bit. I mean, there's a pretty sizable waterfall in the Niagara River.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had the idea, and it was a little bit spontaneous off the cuff, follow the falcon from our front yard to the Arctic. And the first step was to get through Lake Erie. And then when I got through Lake Erie in the storms, I went down the Niagara River under the Peace Bridge, and I wanted to get as close to the brink of Niagara Falls as I could, because I knew I'd have to portage.
Wow.
And I knew it'd be a long portage, so I thought I'll paddle in as close as I dare, and then set up my cart and push my canoe all the way around Niagara Falls. To tell you the truth, I wasn't worried about going over Niagara Falls at all, because as I was paddling in, the current was really strong. I could hear the roar, I could see the mist, and I was coming in closer. But just up from the falls is the hydro intake, so I knew I'd be sucked in there long before going over the falls, so I wasn't too worried.
Well, but that presents a whole other concern. That's incredible that you could hear the falls and see the mist and everything. You're the explorer in residence for the Royal Canadian Geographic Society. You've done so many incredible journeys in your life. For one like this, an adventure like this, what kind of mental preparation goes into it for you?
Well, I don't think about it too much ahead of time.
You don't?
No, I was sort of on the fence right up until the moment I left whether or not I was going to do this journey.
Really?
But it's more like once I actually get out in the water on my canoe and I set off, then the mental side takes over. And I think much like an athlete, you just sort of get in the zone.
Yeah.
And you go. You have your goal, and nothing will swerve you from that, or you won't deviate from that path until you reach the Arctic coast. So that was the idea.
There's incredible footage you got there, too. As I said, it's a really harrowing journey. You encountered bears, muskox, giant storms, whitewater. But I want to talk specifically about bugs, because there were mosquitoes on this trip that you encountered that were just massive. So how do you deal with that? How do you not get eaten alive by these massive mosquitoes?
Well, I left on April 24th of last year, so it was nice and cold for the first month, and there was no bugs.
Okay.
About a month into my journey, I was passing Montreal, and then as I started to work my way north through northern Quebec, it was into June, which is black fly season, mosquito season, and that can be a little bit intense when they're just eating you alive, but I put a mesh bug net on. I just sort of say mind over matter, put one foot in front of the other. It's not too bad. In a couple of months, all the bugs will be gone. So keep going north. Does
a bug net protect against those massive mosquitoes, though, that look like there's something out of a movie? Like, does that work?
Well, it diminishes them. I would say probably gives you about 75% reduction in bites, because if you're sweating or you have blood stains on your face, the mesh net might press against it, and then mosquitoes and black flies can bite through it.
Oh my goodness.
But I always try to say there's a silver lining in any scenario. So when the bugs are really bad, it means the winds are light, which is good for canoeing.
Oh, that's it. Glass half full, right?
Exactly.
Even if that glass is full of mosquitoes.
Look on the bright side. That's the secret to any 3,400-kilometer solo journey. You have to find a positive in any situation.
Yeah.
If it rains for 3 weeks straight, you say, well, at least we don't have to worry about forest fires today.
There you go, yeah.
If there are forest fires, you say we don't have to worry about hypothermia.
Yeah, I love it. I love the optimism. Well, thank you so much for being here. You can read all about Adam's adventures in Where the Falcon Flies.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.